Before we get into how the Vikings were able to burn visceral fat without ever trying, let me ask you something you'll almost certainly get wrong. Why is it so hard to lose the fat around your belly? It isn't because you're not training hard enough, and it also isn't because you can't burn fat from one specific spot. It's because the fat on your belly was never really a fat problem at all. It's a safety problem. You see, your body is holding it there on purpose because somewhere underneath, it believes it's still fighting to survive. And here's the cruel part. The more you starve it and punish it, the more dangerous the world looks to it, and the tighter it clamps down. Now here's where it gets strange. If stress is what locks that fat in place, the Vikings should have been the heaviest, most broken men who ever lived. Their world was far more dangerous than yours. And yet, their bodies were lean and hard. And they built them without ever once trying to lose weight. So how? How did men under that much pressure stay leaner than we are, sitting safe in heated homes with food on every corner? Because it was never the amount of stress that mattered. It was the kind. The Vikings lived with sharp, sudden danger, the kind that hits hard and then passes. Your stress is the opposite. It's quiet, and it never ends. The email, the bills, the worry you carry to bed and pick up again at dawn. Theirs spiked and was gone. Yours never switches off. And that is the whole secret. The Vikings knew how to discharge their stress, to let it move through them and out, so the body could return to calm and feel safe again. We hold on to ours for years. That one difference is why their bodies let go of the fat, and yours won't. Subscribe and stay to the end, because they did it in 5 ways, woven through a single day. And the last one is the one almost everyone today gets completely wrong. But first, you need to understand what's actually happening inside your body. There's a hormone behind all of it. Cortisol, your body's alarm bell, the chemical that floods your system the instant it senses danger. And for almost all of human history, danger meant a predator or a famine. So your body learned a brilliant trick. When the alarm rings, store fat, pack it deep in the belly, around the organs, where it can be burned fast in a crisis. That fat kept your ancestors alive through winters that killed everyone who didn't have it. Here's the thing though. That system was built for danger that ends. The alarm was supposed to ring. You'd run or fight, and then it would go silent and your body would stand down. A spike, then calm. That's what your body can handle. What it was never built for is an alarm that rings quietly all day, every day, for years, which is exactly what modern life does. Your nervous system can't tell a charging wolf from an overdue invoice. It just knows the alarm won't stop. So the order never changes. Store the fat. Hold on. And the belly is where it lands, because the fat around your gut is the most stress-sensitive fat on your whole body, covered in about 4 times as many of the tiny receivers that grab onto cortisol as the fat anywhere else. Worse, that deep belly fat starts producing its own cortisol, feeding the very thing that built it. The more you carry, the harder your body fights to keep it. So you don't win this by punishing yourself harder. That just rings the alarm louder. You win it by doing what the Vikings did without ever meaning to, letting the stress fire, then discharging it, and telling the body over and over that the danger has passed. It started with how they bathed. To the Vikings, Saturday was laugardaga, literally wash day. Cleanliness mattered so much to them that the word still survives in the Scandinavian word for Saturday today. But their bathing was nothing like a quick modern shower. It was a ritual of fire and ice. They would sweat in a heated stone bathhouse, water hissing on hot rocks until the air was thick, and then plunge straight into cold water, a river, a tub, or one of Iceland's open springs. That brutal swing from hot to cold is the purest form of discharging stress there is. You hit the body with a sharp, deliberate jolt, and then you let it crash into deep calm. When you heat hard and then cool, the rest and repair side of your nervous system takes over and floods you with relief. The cold works through another door. Cold water switches on the vagus nerve, the master brake of your entire stress system. Studies show cortisol doesn't even rise during a cold plunge. It falls afterward. And here's the real prize. Do it again and again, and your body slowly stops overreacting to everything else. It learns to fire and then stand down, so the ordinary stresses of a normal day stop owning you. There's a second gift hidden in the cold. It wakes up a tissue called brown fat that burns energy purely to make heat. In one study, 6 weeks of regular cold exposure grew that fat-burning tissue while body fat went down. So the Viking bath was doing two things at once, calming the alarm and lighting a furnace. It's the easiest thing on this whole list to steal. You can end your shower with 30 seconds of cold tomorrow morning. Then there was the work, and this is where the Vikings discharged more stress in a morning than most of us release in a week. They never worked out. Their whole lives were physical, and physical in a particular way. Rowing the longships for hours, hauling nets, splitting wood, working the land, outdoors, in daylight, in the weather. It was hard, but it was rhythmic. Stroke after stroke, swing after swing, the same steady motion until the mind went quiet. That rhythm is the secret. Slow, repetitive, full-body movement is a kind of moving meditation. It burns the day's tension out through the body and gives your racing thoughts nothing to grip. Rowing, especially, has been shown to lower cortisol and pull the mind out of its anxious loops, and over time, this steady kind of effort lowers your baseline stress for good. Notice what they did not do. They didn't thrash themselves in short, savage bursts the way the modern gym does, because all-out punishing exercise actually spikes cortisol, which is why some of the people who train the hardest stay the softest around the middle. The Viking way sat between the man, frozen on the couch, and the man destroying himself under a barbell. Honest, rhythmic effort that moved the stress out, and then real rest. But the body was only half of it. The Norse also did something with their minds that almost no one does today. They refused to lie awake holding their worries. In their book of wisdom, the Havamal, the words of Odin himself, there's a line 1,000 years old that lands like a punch. The unwise man, it says, lies awake all night, turning everything over in his head. And when morning comes, he is exhausted, and every trouble sits exactly where he left it. Worrying through the night changed nothing. The Norse knew it, and they refused to do it. It came from how they saw the world. To them, fate was already woven, so a man's job was simple. Face what came with courage, and then let it go. There was no sense lying awake fighting a future you couldn't change. And modern science says they were right. There's a name for the churning, repetitive worry that keeps you up. Perseverative cognition. It keeps your stress system switched on long after the threat is gone, so cortisol never fully comes down and the body never learns it's safe. That is the held stress that's killing us. The Norse discharged it instead. They did what they could, and then they slept. When the work was done and the dark came down, the Vikings gathered in the one place that mattered most. The hall, where the whole day got discharged at once. Picture it. A long fire burning down the center of the room. Food shared from a common table. The old sagas told aloud into the night while everyone listened. It looks like simple entertainment. It was medicine for the nervous system. 3 doses at once. Start with the fire. In one study of over 200 people, simply watching a real, crackling fire measurably lowered their blood pressure, and the longer they watched, the calmer they got. We are built to unwind in front of flames. Then, the company. Sitting among people you trust and belong to floods your body with oxytocin, the calm and connection hormone. And oxytocin turns the cortisol alarm down. And in one experiment, people with real social support produced the lowest stress hormone of anyone tested. Loneliness does the reverse. To the body, it reads like danger, and it keeps the alarm ringing. The Havamal says it plainly: man is the joy of man. The hall emptied the day out of every person in it. Compare that to how most of us end the night now. Alone, lit by a screen, carrying every bit of it straight to bed. Which brings us to the fifth practice, the one that mattered most, and the one we have buried under everything else. Sleep. The Norse lived under long northern nights, and they did not fight them. When the dark came and the fire burned low, they rested, warm, together, in rhythm with the season. And sleep is the master switch for the whole system. It is the body's deepest discharge, the nightly stand down when everything resets. Cut it short and your cortisol stays high into the evening when it is meant to be falling. Your body turns insulin resistant overnight, and the belly fat machine roars back to life. In one controlled study, people short on sleep gained more visceral fat than those who slept enough, eating the exact same food. Get the rest, and the alarm finally goes quiet. The Vikings knew, without a single instrument, that a rested body is a safe body. And that is the difference the sagas never spelled out. The Vikings did not have less stress than you. They had more cold, more hunger, more genuine danger than you will ever face. But their stress moved through them and was gone. While yours sinks in and stays, they discharged. We hold. They lived hard and then let go. We live easy and never put anything down. So the alarm in their bodies fell silent every night, and the alarm in yours has been ringing for years. That, not your diet and not your willpower, is why their bodies release the fat and yours refuses to. You don't need to fight your body. You need to stop frightening it and start letting the stress go. That's what the Viking way exists to recover. The things we knew for thousands of years and somehow forgot. If this changed the way you'll step into the cold tomorrow morning, you already know what to do.